What's up, guys? Mason here, Cardinal Gaming. Appreciate you clicking on the video, supporting the channel, supporting the store, like you guys always do. Today we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the latest video that Millennium Print Group and the Pokemon Company made about how Pokemon cards are created. And it's out there, and people are watching it, and I thought I would do the same thing with you. PokeBeach actually covered this as well, but they recently got it taken down, removed, or they removed it themselves. So I don't know if this is a great idea, but I'm going to break it down and look at it, because I did another video a while ago going and breaking down the little bit of footage that we did have for how Pokemon cards are made. But this does a way more in-depth, a lot more current, a lot more modern stuff being looked at. It really goes into the process behind it. And I want to just break it down, do a little deep dive, and talk about some things that I think is really interesting, and hopefully you do too. So let's take a look and see how I get started here. I'm actually going to crank up the speed a little bit and run it a little faster. I don't want to take an hour breaking down this video, but I think it is really good. It's a good thing to take a look at. So we're going to talk about it. And here it is, a Pokemon vending machine. Looks like a ton of packaging and all that just for a single booster pack, but cool. Heyo, pulled to Mars, sick. So yeah, so basically they're telling us here that 10 months is about how long it takes from start to finish to create a Pokemon set. And this is Pokemon Company International. If you guys don't know, we'll break it down. They are in Bellevue, Washington. They get all these things from, you can see at the bottom there it says Bellevue, Washington. But it's really an interesting look, and we'll see throughout the video. But I just want to say now, so I don't have to keep stopping, that they get a lot of help from Japan, but a lot of the stuff is also done in-house, and just, it's not a like copy and paste job the entire way through, just from Japanese to English. It's very interesting, and it's very telling how much work actually goes into creating this stuff. So you can kind of look at the data files and things that they're talking about and looking at here when they get information from Japan. They're getting it from Japan, and then they're basically have templates and things that they use in Photoshop. It is Photoshop that they use. 2017 Photoshop, which is interesting, but maybe this video is just that older because they're talking about Ultra Prism here. So going over and just breaking down, this is, again, pretty wild for them to be showing us. Just all the templates and things. And you can even see the dot print lines on that, just how much of the this stuff is layered on top of each other. And again, this is in Photoshop, and they're breaking it down, and they're just showing every single little itty bitty layer, how things are added, and type test or type setting. Type setting is basically them going through, and they have as you can see, those little pink little markings there. All those things are telling the formatting to do certain things. And you can even see later on, like that C in the little brackets. If I can back up a little bit. I'll frame it back. Little C brackets there. We know, even from the past, that the cards are made with these kind of like bracket symbols, and whatever software they've been using forever. They're in Photoshop now, but who knows what it was before. But they're using the same techniques, the same information to denote things like energy costs, and like you can see, like the AB there is for ability. So all these little things are little placeholders that they have, basically, and I'm assuming that makes it really easy for them to, if they wanted to translate it or do something like that, they can do that very easily with different languages, or people that don't speak English or whatever language it's in. It makes it really obvious. That's how we get these errors from, like fighting and fire. There's copies of like Charizards with a fighting instead of a fire. I think it's because fighting is an F in brackets, but fire is like an R in bracket or something else. Like, you can't use F for both of them. So, and they get them confused, and that's how those errors have been made. And this is why, because when the cards are made in the typeset, they don't have just an English equivalent going, hey, put this here, or whatever language it is. So it's an interesting little thing to note. Again, all these little, you can see the graphics build library here. All these things are in templates, and they just kind of plug them in as they go. But again, super cool of them to break this down. And again, very cool. They say per language. It takes 3 weeks for them to translate everything into different languages, and they have to do all these sorts of proofs and all these different things, covering about. Now this is really cool. I love this part. This is something that has never been shown ever, and is, I'm assuming, very much a trade secret. Particularly with these full arts and cards that would have texturing, and Sun and Moon was the first time we had full arts with texturing and things like that. So this is relatively new at the time of doing this. A couple years old. Ultra Prism was a later set, but it wasn't one of the first few. So you can see. Actually, this is not. Oh, these are Japanese, so I don't know what set these are necessarily broken down into. But you can see that they have literally the cards like proofs from Japan. You see they have square edges, and they're just thrown in this Ultra Pro binder for them to look at. And you see the loop there, and you'll see the designer or graphics person talk about how they examine all the texturing that are on the Japanese cards, and then they hand reproduce it, or something that is at least similar look and feel to the Japanese version. It's not just like a copy paste job. There's a lot of things that the texturing has to account for, even for things like different languages and things, because texturing, you don't want to go through energy costs and symbols, because the energy symbols and things have like a unique texture pattern to them. So if they have to move or something like that, when the typeface changes with languages, it's important for them to have to change that on these cards. Something that doesn't make just replication of this super easy. And you kind of see him here breaking it down. He's talking about adding the swirl effects by looking at the Japanese version and then breaking it down across to the English version, and how he curates that on the Pokemon. It's looks like a pain in the butt, but it's a very cool process to see, and just how much effort goes into the texturing. Texturing is is now seen as a very good anti-counterfeit measure, because the type of printing and the process of adding texturing to these cards is something that normal machines and normal printing just don't have the capabilities of. You can't make raised edges on a printer. That's not a thing. So they do something special to these cards, and you can see in this sheet here, I'm assuming they use a texturing plate, and the texturing plate will press this foil layer and give it that little rigidity. Or maybe, again, this is me speculating, don't know anything, I'm just going off what I'm seeing, that the texturing layer is on the foil layer, and then they add maybe even another layer on top of that, a really thin layer. And we'll see later, like the clear sheets they use for the hollow foil effect to go on these cards, that is independent from what the texturing is, because you can't just press this whole thing together, because you'll get it on the back and things like that. So there's a lot of things going on here that is still super secretive and not talked about, but just to be able to see this and gain the insight of this kind of stuff, it's a really neat thing. So they're talking about creating what's called a white plate. A white plate is basically where color would be, devoiding that of color, so that when they go to print it, it prints properly with all the color mixes when they go to print the card. So it's kind of like they don't really break it down, but they'll show you enough for like, okay, like where things should be, it's devoid of color, and then when they go to print over the top of it, that's the information that they put into the printer to allow that to do that types of effects. Yeah, again, just all the different languages and all the proofs and things they have to go through. Of course, in America, they oh, this little scene, all these little things they break down for all these different languages. It takes a very long time, obviously. Send the files over to the printer. This is them talking about creating the packaging, which is less interesting to me, but still very cool how they develop, like the official graphics for certain sets, and how they come up with the names of the sets, and the branding behind it, and the theming behind it. It's very interesting process, but very cool to watch, but not like super interesting as far as like how cards are made themselves. And we'll see more of that later. It's kind of cute. If you go and stop the video, you can like read like the, I don't know if this is real or not. I mean, they just did it for the video, but them trying to decide on the names of sets, and they have like different things together. Prism, and stuff like that for Ultra Prism. I think it's supposed to be a cute little joke, but still very cool of them creating the design and stuff like that. We'll let this run, and then we'll watch the actual footage of everything else here in a second. But yeah, just super cool little breakdown that we've never seen before ever. So it's very cool to get a little insight here. And then kind of like the revisions and different kind of takes on it, and then they decide the official thing, and it'll have all the the board names are all named after Pokemon.
I really like this.
They'll go through with their types and then approve them.
And then it's got these nice sharp points.
Ultra Prism was a very cool set, very fun set. It's nice to see this. Yay! Hold on. Kind of neat here, just all the revision histories and the little notes that they have on there of people like approving certain things and the way they get approved, some sort of internal thing. So that's kind of neat. And they're gonna have booster wraps, and then we're gonna see the booster packs printed here in a second. Durham. We know what's in Durham. Millennium Print Group. So this is Millennium Print Group's part of the process here. Talking about, I thought it was kind of funny how they, again, creeping back a little bit. You can kind of read. It's a card list for Forbidden Light. They kind of blurred it, like I think intentionally, but you can kind of see it right at the end. Loading all the card files in and putting them on a sheet to print. Very, very cool. Again, we're looking at this here. This is kind of neat. Again, kind of giving you insight about how this stuff is made. So this stuff is printed. As you can see, it's a very thin layer, the hollow, that goes on the card. Again, I don't know if you don't know if this is made particularly for foiling and how they make foils, or is this just to proof it. It's very, very difficult to know. Of course, there's foil cards in all kinds of TCGs, but you know, Pokemon in particular with regular foils, and then you go on and talk about texturing of foils is kind of a different thing to try to break down. It's two very different processes. But you can see this guy slapping this the print text with a clear field where the hollow foil would come through, and then they adjust it there and heat it together to fuse it, and they're going to pull the top layer off the top of it, and then boom, there you go, shiny, beautiful cards. And these are, you can tell with the Black and Rock and Alone Executor, these are theme decks, like the front card for theme decks. You get a Shatter Foil or Shatter or Cracked Ice promo with that. You can kind of see that there. All the different adjustments and how that looks on like foils and packaging and things. Make sure everything looks Gucci, and syncing it up with the different kind of colors. Going into proofing, make sure everything looks good. This is all different languages. These are test print sheets. As far as I can see here, no texture layers in these. They should have textures if they were official. But checking the colors and making adjustments, and very, very close detail looking at the stuff. Yeah, you can see there it does not have textures in it. So yeah. And plating. Plating is how they print. They create a plate of all these different colors, and then they use those plates to print onto the paper. You're gonna see it there. Do quality control. Quality control. You know, within a tolerance. Lamination. Lamination is an interesting thing to watch and get breaking down for us. Big giant machine. This is airflow going in between these print sheets to kind of break them apart and separate them, so that when the machine goes to pick them up, they don't get all stuck together. Very, very cool. Watch it get fed. You can see this is the foil type for Sun and Moon. It's called Sun Pillars apparently. I like to call it like when you looked at a card, it had like an oil slick kind of looking thing where it had like a sheen, like a rainbow color. If you looked at like water with oil in it or something. Very, very cool. Holo, I missed that holo because the current one kind of is meh, but you see 50,000 sheets per day. Again, this is just for the foiling sheets. So they're laminating the paper with the foiling. And then actual printing the cards themselves. All that cardstock, 33,000 sheets per pallet. This is them to make sure all the plates or the paper is all together. This guy with, it looks like a hockey puck, slapping this thing, trying to get that little crease out of there so when it gets fed in the machine, everything's all straight and neat. Again, people talk about faking cards and all this stuff. To do it properly, $8.5 million is what you need to get a printing machine to do these types of cards. So it's not very cheap. No one's doing this in their basement and making fake Pokemon cards. Not to the quality that, it would need to be done. And then they have these big paint troughs, and they have this big roller that puts the ink on it, just to keep the ink levels up. Very, 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 very fast, as you can see. I'm checking the ink intensity again. There's a tolerance for this, so, sometimes Pokemon cards will be darker or lighter than other ones. There's a tolerance for that. Again, very cool to see this. This is a foil sheet. You can see all the cool foils there from Sun and Moon. They'll make a little micro adjustments on all the colors based on what they see, which is neat. Super cool.
In this case,
again, this is the white plate. You can see on this holo effects. Obviously, you don't want the holo effect going through onto where you're going to put ink, so they put white where everything where printing was going to be.
Starting with the white,
and then that's how they go ahead and add the colors after that.
General
This is a completed sheet. It shows all the colors, and they're checking it out, make sure it all looks good,
again how the whites are fitting
and comparing all the sheets to make sure it's uniform.
We do two different proofs.
Super cool.
That is approved by the card team. Generally, the last thing to do is
Make sure everything lines up properly. You don't want
make
like
sure
weird shifts, so that wouldn't
as tight as
against the white sheet or the white proof. That if the colors are misaligned or something like that, it's gonna look weird. They'll just have these like weird white lines where there shouldn't be. So almost done. Card finishing, measuring, cutting, important things that we complain about all the time. Them coming off the sheet, cutting them like this, like little dots, alignments. You can see this one didn't do so hot. Some little layers are in there, but they make adjustments and they say it's all good. Again, blown air so they don't stick together. They get fed into the cutting machine here. We call it the slitting machine. And people are like memeing about like the Pokemon cards there, and like, oh man, look how uncalibrated their machines are. No. When you are using any sort of materials, if you want something to have a friction point or a touch point, and you want it to have a similar material there. So this is not just like them being like, oh, this is off a little bit. Just shove a couple cards in there, no big deal. This is so that when they slide against each other, they're on a pallet with all this stuff already. They're sliding around as it is, as they get moved around and whatever. This is the easiest way to make sure that they are not getting more excessively scratched and getting beat up is by putting it with the same material that it's already made with. So it has the same, texturing and friction to it. This is not like their machine being shoddy. This is just them being extra careful so it doesn't rub up against a piece of metal. Very, very cool to see this. All the sheets, all the cards being loaded off the sheets after they are cut. And then these are all square cuts, so this guy's checking out, make sure that everything's lined up properly. We'll see more about that in a second. And they load them into this machine that cuts the corners. I thought this was all done at the same time. Again, not something that we frequently see. Yeah, after the cards are individualized, they are still cut, and then the corners are cut again, separately from the line cuts. Very neat to see. Something I didn't think would be a process. I thought they would maybe do it all at once, but here we see that it's not. It's done in a separate machine. This guy's got a little piece that he's make sure all the edges are lined up again. Make sure that's within a tolerance of being centered and properly and passes approval. Obviously, they're not doing this with every sheet under the sun. They do it periodically. Sometimes things can get off as it's run. You can see there's different times and things. You can see Sun and Moon 6, which is Sun and Moon 6, I think. I don't know if it was Ultra Prism or not, but anyways, doesn't matter. And then the date, the 2018 on it, and then the time that they're pulling these. They have an idea, so if there is an issue, that they know what's up. And these are cool. Aha! Very, very neat. Something to see. These are boxed and shipped somewhere else. So you can see on this here, this is the booster pack rare from this set being all packed together in this box. Very, very weird to see. Like, didn't know it would be this, like, small of a box. It's just where all this stuff goes to. So when they go to feed it into the next process, which is also very neat to see, they can be fed in properly and go into packs. Kind of neat. Very cool. Let's talk about code cards for real quick. Kind of not something that we saw a little bit in the previous video that they put out. Obviously, they print them all onto this. It's dried under UV light, and then the camera makes sure all the codes are valid. You don't want to get a code card that doesn't work. So, and if it fails, it goes. It just spits it out. Kind of cool, kind of neat. And again, it says right there the card weights vary so that they deter people from being able to weigh packs. That's kind of neat. Those big roller prints are what they print with to go onto booster packs. So this is kind of like the foiling for booster packs, just real quick. Neat thing as well, kind of cool to watch and see. Again, all the colors and the white block for that on the foil. Foil pack is the same little treatment. 2.5 million packs unwrapped, made in a day. That's a lot of Pokemon cards. Them loading the foil, they're done. Stack 2 on top of each other. This is kind of cool too. You can actually see. You guys always see those booster packs with like red tape on them or black tape or something like this. This dude literally doing that right now, taping these things together so that when they go through the machine, that the two things line up and they splice together. It's like a seamless roll when they go to package these packs. So literally you get to see that being put on the pack right there. So that's where that comes from. If you ever see a pack with like tape on it. Shine the light through there to make sure that the white and the color layers are matched up. Those are silly. Aha! Aha ha ha! Card collation. Card collation. Collation means to make all parts bring together. This is how they randomize packs. Right here. These are the machines that do it. I had no idea it was this much of a process. And you can even see on this breakdown all the cards that go in that particular hopper to make sure that they are randomized in a proper certain way. So you can see like right there, there's like 2 different cards. I don't know what they are, but all those are in that same hopper. So when they go and they make this conveyor belt line of all the packs with all the cards on them, that they're getting the right, rares, ultra rares, commons, and stuff like that. They're all being collated together properly, so that when oftentimes we'll see in packs like all the ultra rares got fed or all the not ultras, all the uncommons were replaced with like energies. That's from somebody putting the wrong thing in one of these machines and having it all be energies in packs. So that's what happens here. You kind of see it's kind of cute. You have like the set symbols on the side so they know what set symbols have to go in the machine, so that maybe they're doing multiple of these runs in a day and they're like just feeding them into these packs and they're just hawking them up and loading them up. This is how potentially we can get other sets and booster packs in this process when they load these little white blocks that have the cards in them into these things, so that when they go to these packs that they are all lined up properly. Again, booster pack, all the codes getting onto there, bada boom, there you go, booster packs. It's the card cripper, the big giant press that was doing that. It was closing up the packs. That's how you get like crimped cards and things. It's a big machine that does that. There they go into booster boxes, and bada bing. Very, very cool. Ready to go. Super cool. theme decks here. I was trying to figure out what this was doing in this video, and I was like, what is this? What is this trying to tell me? Like, what? Why is this in here? Does it get cut weird? You can just kind of see in the top left over there, it says smartphone and radio policy. So this is Millennium Print Groups, or wherever this packing warehouse or whatever it is. This is all the things you can't wear in there. So that, you know, moving parts, machines and things, loose-fitting clothing, hats, you know, clothes with dangly things on it, stuff like that. You can't wear it in this area. That's like, this is just an employee warning thing here. It makes sense to me. I was like, what is that? But now I understand. This is neat, just to look at. Again, this is packaging for theme decks. White blocks on the foil printing. We kind of actually see the embossing plates, which are these here. Get a little insight on how texturing could potentially be put onto cards. The thing about theme decks is that it's all the way through. So, not entirely a similar process, but yeah, just they, you know, they have this big press that they press it against, and makes that kind of embossed, upraised edges effect. For these booster packs, they look super cool. Theme decks are always really cool packaging, typically. Especially Cinnamon. That's kind of like the only thing that had that kind of really thick foil texturing on it, which is kind of cool, kind of neat. This is just loading the theme decks and putting them all together. Interesting to see what's automated and what isn't. You can kind of see these are fed in by a person, but the machine spits them out there. The guy is there to make sure everything's going. The coins, dropping the coins in, the damage counters. The person that puts the plastic down, and then feeds it in the machine. That one is taping it up, putting it in the packaging. Very neat. Very cool. Alright, warehouse. Play warehouse things. Durham as well. I don't know if it's at Millennium Print Group specifically, or if it's just somewhere close by. But you think that booster box you have is particularly rare? Look at this picture and tell me. Think sealed product is a rare commodity? Look at this picture. Look at all this. Look at all that stop tape. Now, these are pallets. If you look at the very top, bottom left there, these are pallets stacked too high. Too high pallets. These things are stacked. Nothing's rare. Nothing's rare in Pokemon. Nothing. Look at this. Crazy. This guy is loading the pallets up on the shelves to store. This is how we get Sun and Moon ETBs and things from forever ago. They get stuck up on one of these shelves and they're like, oh shoot, Sun and Moon, we're in the Sword and Shield block, but I found some Sun and Moon stuff. Alright, well, get it out of here. That's fine. That's how this happens. Look at this giant warehouse of all this sealed product. Crazy. An insane amount of product. Wrapping the pallets. These are all onto trucks. So much product. There's so much, guys. Look at this all. That's it, I believe. That's it. Start to finish. That's Pokemon cards. I didn't take as long as I thought. That's very good. Special thanks to Millennium Print Groups and PBM Graphics. So, very cool look at how modern cards are made, how Pokemon cards are made. Very cool, very nice to see. Something that we've never seen. It's never been out before. It's out there now. So, awesome to see. Awesome to see the breakdown. Very insightful to see just how hands-on, making each card is by hand. Texturing effects, all the stuff. We had no idea how it was done, and could only make assumptions. Now we have more proof and evidence about what actually goes into it. Just cool to see, fun to see. Still a lot of things that we don't know about, but that's fine. We don't need to know about all the intricacies of doing absolutely everything. That's for the people that have to deal with that. So, very fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little breakdown here and me talking about it. If you have any questions or maybe anything that you saw that I didn't break down, put down in the comments, let me know, and see what else we can learn together. So appreciate you guys. Click on the video, support the channel, support the store. See you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.